Guys, today I want to talk to you about a pattern that I use every single day as a scalp trader, as an intraday trend trader. This is pretty much the only pattern that you need to be successful, and it's very simple. I like to keep things simple. If you have TradingView, you can pull up this little tool here, the ABCD pattern. A, B, C, D. It looks like this. We have an impulse move up, followed by a pullback, followed by a continuation move higher. So that's the bull pattern right there. The bear pattern is exactly the opposite. We have an impulse move lower from A to B, followed by a pullback to point C, followed by a continuation move down to point D. And that's really how simple it is. So I've been trading to the short side. So we've got the short side over here. This is the bear pattern. And we've got the bulls over here. This is the long pattern. I've been trading to the short more recently because the market has pulled back, and we've seen some pretty good short opportunities over the last few days here. So taking a look at MicroStrategy, this is a Bitcoin name. We have this exact pattern play out. We have a point A to B move, followed by the C, followed by a continuation move down to D. So you will see this pattern play out every single day. There's nuances to every single one. They don't look exactly the same, but they pretty much follow this same pattern every day. So some of the key things that I look for is, ideally, I want an impulse move lower, breaking support, and sitting under VWAP. So this is the volume weighted average price line here, which is kind of like the equilibrium for the day. The bulls are in control above VWAP, bears are in control under VWAP. So if I'm trading to the short side, I want to see price under VWAP. I want to see a strong move from A to B, followed by a pullback to C. And then what I look for entries is I want to see where C is going to be, because if C is actually above A, the pattern isn't valid. I want to see point C below A, in between A and B, and I want to see how it reacts as it pulls back into the 9 EMA and the VWAP area. And once I see price kind of reject those areas, that's where I look for entries. So in here, I was taking entries into the 310, 308 area. And then we're looking for a move down to B and hopefully a break of these lows and get a nice intraday trend going. So in this case, the bears are definitely in control. We got our entry and we set our stop just above point C. Because for this pattern to be valid, we don't want to see price start to break higher and get above C. We want to see that immediate resolution down into point D. So entries in the 310 area, you can add to the position once you see price starting to break new lows. You can add them. I like to take a momentum add as we break point B, and then cover and take profits as we make our move lower. So that was yesterday. Let's see how this played out in previous days. You can see the previous day was exactly the same. Price is under VWAP. We have an A to B move with a pullback to C, and then a continuation down to D. Entries as we pull away from VWAP. You can take profits as it approaches B. A lot of guys like to do that because B is kind of a support zone, and sometimes B holds up and we have a double bottom and this pattern doesn't play out. So you can start to lock in profits as we get to point B. Sometimes I do that depending on how price is reacting around there. But when we get a nice move below B, I like to add to the position and double up and take profits as we break lower. Previous day from that, 3 days ago, exactly the same scenario. A, B, C, pop into VWAP, and then we get a move down to D. So you can see how you can play this pattern every single day. And sometimes they play out later in the day. Sometimes you'll get an A, B, C, D move midday or late day. You don't always get it right out of the open. In this particular case, we had A, B, C was higher than A, so that's no longer valid. But immediately after that, we get an A, B, C, D move here. And as you can see, that's why I said sometimes guys like to take profits as we get a move back down into that B area, because this one, price didn't really go much lower after that. So that's one way to make sure you take some profits. This is a small profit trade or maybe a break even, but there's no way that you should have taken a loss on this particular case. So that is the short side of things. And we also play the long side. We got exactly the same pattern playing out on the bull side of things. We've got price above VWAP. We've got an ABCD pattern. C gets held up by the 9 EMA. The bears tried to break it below, but the bulls bought it right back up. And as we start to pull away and move higher, entries in the 348, and then sell as we approach that 355 area. So every day there's pretty much an ABCD pattern. Let's see how it looks on other stocks. So I also trade Tesla on a regular basis. So yesterday we had same thing. We were looking for that ABCD move right out of the open, but the bulls bought it up. So the one thing that kept me out of this trade here was that this C point is above the VWAP. So it tells me that there's a little more strength in this name, and I just want to wait until we get back under VWAP to go short. Also, the stock was green on the day. If you look at this, this is our red to green line here. The stock was green on the day, so the bulls are kind of in control. It's not a good short until we get red on the day. But you can see that later in the day, we have this A, B. We break from green to red. We have a retest of that green to red line at the 9 EMA as well. And then we have a move down to D. And if you remember, we set our stops just above C. So if you took some profits on your position here, you never would have got stopped out on the rest of the position. And you can see we got a trend lower all day. So it's the same pattern every single day. Sometimes they don't play out, so we just avoid them or look for another stock. But you can see from previous days, we have the same pattern playing itself out every single day. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. So this is really the only pattern you need and provides opportunities every single day. So take a look at the charts that you trade and see where you can find this pattern playing out, and kind of just do some reverse engineering, some back testing of how you would trade it, where you set your stops, and how you want to take your profits. So hope you found something valuable in this video. And if you did, hit that like button, subscribe, follow, subscribe, all those great things. And we'll see you on the next video.